Hi friends, today we're going to learn something super powerful in Python. Variables. Variables are like magic boxes that store information in your program. Let's start coding.
Everyone, my name is Adeesha and welcome to this channel Learn with Adeesha. So, thank you for watching the previous video in this series Programming in Python, where we talked about the print function and what exactly a function is. We also now know what concatenation is. Alright, so in this video we are going to be covering one of the most important elements of Python, used in literally every single program, called variables. These are quite easy to know but quite hard to set up right if you're a beginner. So let's get started. In algebra you may have associated variables with the dreaded things x, y, and z, with graphs, or with the quadratic formula a squared plus ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Ugh, gives me chills down my own spine. I know you're suffering. Still though, we are going to be talking about computer science or programming variables and how to define and use them. So, variables in computer science are things that can change, as with algebra. But in this case, variables can be set to themselves plus another value or minus another value, etc., etc. There's infinite potential for what they can be. So, now let's look at what basic variables are. So, variables can be set like this. Let's name a variable LWA, the abbreviation for Learn with Adeesha. So, LWA. Variables can only be either letters or underscores or numbers. So you can say LWA1 or LWA underscore AD. We can say either of those, but for now let's keep it as LWA. And then we add the equals sign, and then you can add whatever you want here. You can add whatever you want in this blank area. But let's say that I want to add quote unquote, or just quote here, subscribe. So let's define the value or variable LWA as the word subscribe, because of course that is what you should do to get more of these amazing videos and content from this channel. Anyhow, we can describe this value LWA as subscribe, but a variable is no use if we don't know how to use it, right? I mean, it's in the name. Still though, let's use a print function, which, as you learned in the last video, gives an output of whatever is in the print box, as I call it, or these curved brackets, into the Python terminal. Alright? So, we can say that LWA is defined as the word subscribe in a string. Okay? And for print, we don't actually have to write the word subscribe to print out the value of LWA. We can just write LWA directly in there. Just make sure it's not in quotes. Just write the variable name directly in there and make sure you've defined the variable correctly. So now let's look at how we can change a variable. Now to change a variable, let's set LWA to something other than the word subscribe. Let's set the value LWA to the word like plus share. We can write LWA as like plus share. Now, then we can write LWA is equal to LWA or the previous iteration of LWA. The previous iteration of the variable plus, or there's an edit made to the previous iteration of that variable, meaning that the new variable is formed. So in this case, LWA is equal to the next iteration of LWA is equal to the previous iteration of LWA, and then let's say plus something else, like let's say plus sub. So then in this case, we would get the new value of LWA as like plus share plus sub. You see here? So let me explain this again. The old iteration of LWA is like plus share. Now this new iteration of LWA is the old iteration of LWA plus the string plus sub. So we would get the new LWA as like plus share plus sub. And if we were to print it, we would get the same value, like plus share plus sub. Now then, let's learn how to set values for different things. For example, how can we set a value for something that the user has to enter? For example, let's say a number in a calculator. How do we do that? How does a calculator know what number the user has entered? So let's set a value called num, alright, for number, and set it equal to input, which is the thing used to get an input from the user, curve bracket, and then we type our prompt in here. But in this case, we want an integer input, or we want a number. We want specifically a number. We don't want an integer, we want a number. So what we would write is we would write FLOAT, or float in this case, bracket, and then we would write our prompt. So let's say enter a number. Okay? And if we wanted an integer, we would write int. If we wanted a string, we would write str. Alright? So that is how to use variables. Alright? So that is all for this video. And I hope you enjoyed. I hope you like it. I hope you subscribe to this channel, and I hope you share the video. And I will see you in the next video of this series. Good day.
Today. In our next video, we'll explore more about Python. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and press the bell so you never miss your Python adventure.